welcome to another episode of the Fish and Coach Show. I'm Brandon Fisher. This is Coach Ratner. Today we're going to look into, was I born with a purpose? Coach, do we have a purpose? What are we doing here?
Well, either we're born with a purpose or we're not born with a purpose, right? Can you think of anything in the world that doesn't have a purpose?
I would say mosquitoes.
Okay, I hate mosquitoes. I remember when I was living in Rockville, when I used to barbecue, I'd have to take my pants, tuck them into my socks, and wear long sleeves and a scarf because mosquitoes would attack me in my backyard.
Oh, they
I
are
hate
the worst.
mosquitoes. We'd love to not see mosquitoes, but believe it or not, they have a purpose. They eat the insects. They eat the larvae of small insects.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then other animals eat them. And
it's all part of the ecosystem.
What an amazing food chain.
Even poison ivy has a purpose. Animals eat the seeds from poison ivy as food.
Wow.
So think about it. There was an idea we've seen in the last century that in Yellowstone National Park, there was an abundance of wolves, and all the farmers around Yellowstone National Park were upset because the wolves would eat all the livestock. So over time, they would trap them and poison them, and eventually there was no more wolves left in Yellowstone Park.
Wow.
And everyone thought, oh, it's great. There's no more wolves left.
Seems so much safer.
It seems safer. There's no one's getting attacked. It's not killing the elk. But you know what happened? The elk were now hanging out, not worried about wolves anymore. So they would hang out at the river, and they would eat all the vegetation, which made the beavers disappear, which made the eagles disappear. And next thing you know, Yellowstone Park ecosystem was falling apart.
Extremely fragile.
Very fragile. So what happened was
it works like that.
the park wanted to reintroduce wolves. And of course, the farmers were fighting this. I think this took decades to happen. And finally, they brought some wolves in from Jasper National Park in Canada. And the park is flourishing now.
With wolves.
Well, not with wolves, but with everything
With
flourishing.
everything.
Because what was thought to be a dangerous animal is an important part of the ecosystem.
That's so fascinating.
It is. And you think that you think you don't have a purpose? Because think about the world. Think about, there's different levels of creation. For example, you have water, which feeds plants and animals and us. And then you have plants, and then you have animals. They all have a purpose. Humans, as humans, you might be vegetarian. I get vegetarians now all the time. Everyone's like a vegetarian, vegan.
It's definitely a trend.
It's a very big trend.
A lot of good reasons.
It's a very big trend to go vegan, which makes it so hard. Like, how do you eat a pizza? How do you eat lox and bagels with cream cheese when you're a vegan?
Wait, those are possible. You're saying vegan, yeah.
Vegan,
right?
and vegetarian's different.
They are getting more creative. We'll give them a lot of credit.
Oh, but you got to hear this. I was at a store and I saw caviar. And kind of like caviar on like crackers, which is like fish eggs. You see it at sushi restaurants. And it was $2.99 for a jar. I'm like, wow, that's really cheap for caviar. Because caviar is really expensive. And I bought it. I went home. I started looking into it. It was vegetarian caviar. It was fake fish eggs.
Caviar.
They took seaweed and they made it into fish balls with little juice of seaweed juice. I guess ocean juice or whatever, ocean water in the middle of it. And you bite it's salt water. And you bite into it. It tastes just like caviar. And it's vegetarian. It's vegan.
You buy it?
I bought it. I want to buy more.
Coach, is this something that we can use instead of sardines?
Well, yeah. I don't know about that. You need more protein. That's not protein.
Fair
the
enough.
reason with sardines is that you have a lot of protein and oil. So,
So it's amazing. One animal being reintroduced into the world changes the whole ecosystem.
That's correct.
Clearly, it has a purpose. And clearly, if those have a purpose, we also have a purpose.
we can't be born without a purpose. It's not possible, which means we're not random beings. Because if we were born by accident, just randomly, that means we're just an accident and we have no purpose. And I don't like to think that, because if we have no purpose, then we can be just like that ant that you step on that you don't think anything about.
And it doesn't have a purpose.
Well,
Even
ants
that
have purpose. They have a
that-
purpose, but the idea is that it doesn't affect us.
Right.
One ant, us killing ants, is not going to affect us. It affects their own colony, and maybe if you took millions of ants, it
could affect even a whole.
It could affect the whole ecosystem, just like the wolves. Just like the wolves. So if everything was born with a purpose, we must have a purpose.
Coach, here's an idea that I heard that I love personally.
Okay.
This is a question for you as our listeners. How many sides, and for you, Coach, how many sides does a box have?
I think it has 6 sides, right? Like dice has 6 sides.
Sure, dice have 6 sides.
Not that I know about dice playing craps, but I think it goes to number 6.
Right, yes, it does go to number 6. And if you look at it, it's got, every object has those 6 planes of views. Top, bottom, side, front, back. And that's all in good.
Top, bottom.
Top, bottom.
Yeah.
Right, left,
Front, back.
front, back.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
It's got the 6 sides, 1 to 6. We'll keep it with the dice. But the whole thing that you must consider is why that object exists in the first place. Look at this cup, front, bottom, top, all the sides. But it wouldn't matter if it was only those 6 sides. It's the 7th side that matters the most.
That's right.
And it shows that there's a purpose for everything, and it's that 7th dimension, that 7th side.
Wow, because 7's a big number in the world. You know that?
Yeah,
I think there's 7 days of the week.
that sounds familiar.
Yes, and I think there's also 7 seas, 7
I remember
oceans.
hearing that.
And there's also 7 colors of the rainbow.
What a coincidence.
It's pretty crazy. And I think there's like 2, 4, 6, 7 openings on our face.
That's wild. I didn't know that one.
Yeah. I
Never
mean, if you
thought
count
about
the
that
nose
one.
as 2, I guess it'd be 2, 4. No, it counts as 2.
The
2,
nose
4,
counts
6,
as
7.
2.
Yeah, it's 2. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's pretty amazing. That's 7.
That is amazing. Wow, that number pops up everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a purpose for it?
Maybe that's why they call it lucky 7. Except you're playing craps. It's not so lucky unless you
Right.
get on the first roll. Then you lose.
Yeah, craps is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
With that number 7. But fair enough. There's a purpose behind everything. If it works, find more things with the number 7.
Right.
Every single object has that 7th dimension, the reason it exists.
Right.
So we do too.
Right. So we have to have a purpose because I don't want to be born randomly without a purpose. I want to know my purpose, which is going to be our next podcast, is how do you find your purpose in life?
That's a big question.
Yes.
So stay tuned. We're going to get into that one. Thank you for watching this episode of the Fish and Coach Show.
See you next time. Thanks for watching the Fish and Coach Show.
If you like what you just watched, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment with any ideas you'd like to see on any future episodes.
We'll see you next time.